Wow, what can I say? I'm really enjoying this show. House of the Dragons on HBO Max, episode 7. Hello, everyone from Montreal, Canada. Oh boy, what can I say really there? I was a little bit worried last week, and I keep saying this, I'm always pleasantly surprised, but I am not only enjoying the show, I really like it. It's, yeah, how can I say this? It's after the last episode, I don't know if you watched my previous review last week, but I was left with a few questions. And those questions were answered this week. If you didn't watch it, I was wondering how the lineage, how the genetic markers were passed on, uh, how would the princess, who in the previous, in episode 5, was like, okay, well, time to grow up and take responsibility and do my duties, which in episode 6 all of a sudden seemed to have gone out through the window somewhat. But last night, when I watched the episode, they answered that. And she did try to take on her duties, her and her husband. They did try to make children. Apparently, it did not work out the way that they were hoping. So, I'm happy that they answered that. Now, back to the rest of this episode. I'm not going to get into spoiler territory. Or then again, I am going to go through a few things here and a few images from the show. So if you haven't seen the show, then maybe wait a bit before watching this review. It's not an in detail review I'm going to make here. It's just my impressions and the reasons why I like this show. And after episode 7, this particular episode, it has to be my favorite. I mean, it's a tie with, I think, episode 3. Episode 3 has its moment that makes it like a favorite. But this episode, how can I say? The screenwriters, whoever's directing this, whoever's producing this, whoever's in charge, knows exactly what he's doing. He's making a great job, and what I've been told is that the person responsible for this TV show had another project, which was Conan the Barbarian TV series. I'm sad that he did not get a chance to do it the way that he wanted to do it, because I really like the Conan brand and the comics and all that. It's really one of my heroes. But what he's doing with House of Dragon, it's just great. I'm putting it at a certain level where I think that I'm actually liking it more than the Game of Thrones. Everybody back in the days were talking about Game of Thrones. You got to watch this. You got to watch this. And I think I started watching in the third season or fourth season. So I binge watched the first 3 seasons. And I really liked it back then. Okay, so the last season and a half, maybe, of Game of Thrones wasn't that good. because basically they no longer had any books to base the show on, so they just, like Hollywood, fell back on what it knows best, and it's not always the greatest of renderings. But in House of the Dragon, the episodes are so condensed. Pardon me, I'm going to take a sip of coffee here. There is so much storytelling in the scripts, in the writing, in the scenes. Even when people are not talking, a lot of information is going through. So much so that I'm not overloaded mentally when I'm watching this, but there might be some things that I haven't grasped fully. Nonetheless, this show is, you know, pushing the story. The pace is really fast here. They're going through years. They did a time jump last week. And this episode, you kind of start seeing the children. And apparently, the story will focus on these children. I'm surprised how you can put children in a drama. And it's not easy. We all know that Hollywood, working with children, it's not an easy job to do. But in this show, they managed to push the drama, the story, and it's believable. The action scenes, the dialogue between the kids, it's it's really, really good. And I'm I'm on the edge of my seat. I want to watch the next episode. I want to know what's going to happen with these kids. And again, they're going to move forwards in time, so I don't know if, once again, the actors for these kids will change to have them grow up. Obviously, you can't have a 5-year-old play an 18-year-old. You know, it's easy to play a 12-year-old, 18-year-old, but it gets harder when you have lower age children growing up. But the story, the way that everything is done, it's really, really well done. I do recommend people to watch this. Even if you were disappointed with the ending of Game of Thrones, overall, there's this saying that it's not the destination, it's the journey. And now that I finished watching episode 7, so I have like 7 hours invested in this series, I have enjoyed it, really, really, really enjoying this. It's good. One of my favorite all-time favorites. Like I said, I'm liking this. I think more than Game of Thrones. And at first I wasn't sure if all the actors would be able to carry the series, and I wasn't sure about other political alignments or agendas that this show might have had. It's all on the back burner as far as I'm concerned. I'm not seeing it. I'm just seeing incredible storytelling from A to Z. And like I previously mentioned this, that the king can carry his own weight and can carry the show on his own. I kind of feel sorry for this actor or this king in this show, because you see that he has a good heart. He has good intentions. He just wants everybody to get along. And unfortunately, people are raising their hand and saying, no, well, see, I'm not happy. We got to resolve this. So it's kind of sad to see, a good king and things are not going. I mean, he's the king. You can order people to, get along. It doesn't happen that way, but I'm also surprised that he's not dead yet. Since the first episode, I thought that there would be some secret agenda going on behind the scenes trying to kill this king and for a power grab or a throne grab in this case. And yep, he's still alive at the end of episode 7. He's not strong. I mean, he's on his way out, but I thought he was on his way out after episode 1. So I'm surprised that he's lasted this long. But I'm really enjoying this king. All his scenes, all his dialogues. I mean, he wants to patch things with his brother. It's not as easy. Everybody has baggage. The kids are, somewhat trying to get along, but the more I mean, in these last 2 episodes, you can see that the kids were kind of supposed to get along, but they all have their issues. And, already at this lower age, baggage arises, and, you know, it it's good storytelling moving forward. I'm anxious to see what's going to happen now. In this episode, I was okay. After the last episode, uh, Matt Smith's wife committed suicide by dragon, if we can put it that way. And I thought that she did that so that one of her daughters could inherit her dragon. One of her daughters really wanted a dragon. And since the mother, I mean, she was, facing death by cesarean or facing death by not being able to give birth, kind of decided to end it on her terms in the last episode by dragon. And I thought there was missing scenes there or something that I didn't understand, and I was hoping that it was for her daughter, but she wasn't fast enough to claim the dragon. And even in that show, her mother's telling her daughter she needs to claim what she wants in life. And I really was hoping that we would see this in this episode, but they're still mourning the funeral of her mother, and she doesn't claim the dragon, and somebody else does, which is gonna be a game changer. And kudos also, because that other kid that wanted a dragon, that was picked on for not having a dragon, I mean, he just goes after it, and he showed me a side of maturity that some kids have compared to others. So their character traits are developed. There's a lot of baggage put into this show, into the background of these characters. You get more of it condensed in 2 minutes than you can watch a series of anything else for 10 hours and not gain the same level of character development that you get in 10 minutes of this show. So I'm really enjoying it. All the characters are carrying the show. The queen, uh, the hand of the everything. There's so many things in motion here, and even a pleasant surprise at the end of this episode. Uh, I thought they were going to be really ruthless, and it turns out that they surprise. You get nice surprises within the storytelling of this episode. So I'm not going to go into any further detail. So I'm hoping that this is not too many spoilers because I'm trying to be as vague as I can here. Watch the show. Please leave me a comment down below. Please like and subscribe. I really like this show. I would really like to, discuss it further in the comments down below. Please like and subscribe. It would really help the channel. See you in the next one and next week. It's going to be awesome.